We're live. Okay, here we are. All right. That was a much smoother transition than last time. I think we are starting to perfect this as far as going live, which is really nice. So we can wait for members to join. Today we are checking in after a long holiday season, getting New Year's over with, and
all the pressures that come
everything.
with all the pressures that come with
Did you hear my sigh?
November, December,
It
and
is.
then finally it's like there's such a different vibe after the first of the year.
Yeah.
But
Like you can breathe a little bit.
You can breathe a little bit.
Yes.
However, like I don't know about you, but I'm just feeling tired. Like, oh my gosh, where's my energy?
You're
where's
exhausted.
my drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been and
Yes.
also what I really noticed is the level of energy is much subdued from pre-Christmas, before Christmas or
Yes.
through those holiday weeks, because everybody's energy everywhere you went was like, whoo, people
Frantic.
were frantic. They were frantic. Exactly.
Frantic energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely had some of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why we're doing the Mercury Retrograde sort of New Year's check-in, because on top of the already really busy holiday season, right after that, Mercury went into retrograde and lasted through the New Year's. And I know that I felt the last couple weeks, I've had an extremely hard time in getting started. I mean, we have some stories that just as, well, you can't say coincidences, but like stories of how the New Year, Capricorn season, right? That's what I coincide New Year with. And the retrograde being together, it's like two energies either pushing against each other really hard or pulling way apart, however you want to think of that. But it's sort of two opposing energies that then put you into a slump,
Well, and along with that comes the expectation of what you're supposed to do at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Like you're supposed to be, okay,
Yes.
It's a new year, new you, get yourself together, plan your year,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
there's this pressure on us to be like, whoo, 2023, new year, whichever.
Make it the best year
make it
ever.
the best year ever, the best year of your life, and do all of these things.
Always.
And it's funny because for the last 2 weeks of December, I was on vacation. And so I did have all these ideas of things like, okay, I'm going to, at first of the year, when things slow down, after the holidays, I'm going to sit down and make plans. Cause like, what do I want to do every month, or throughout 2023
Right.
to grow? One of the things I thought, all right, I want to read a book a month, watch less TV, go to the gym.
You started making
I
your
started
list.
making my list, and then I didn't do anything with it. Like the first of the year came, and I literally sat on the couch watching TV. And what happens to me, and I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, is like I start feeling bad about myself and start criticizing myself for like you and calling myself
Negative.
names.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like
you lazy slob.
Yeah, exactly. Like what is wrong with you? Where's your drive? Where's your
Yeah.
motivation? What's wrong with me? That's what
wrong
I'm
with
asking
you?
myself.
Yep.
Like, what's wrong with me? So it was really
Yes.
interesting when we sat down, because when we sat down to do this and Jayme started talking about it, I was like, so it's not me. And I never look whenever I'm feeling like super critical of myself. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, because I think we all go through periods of time where we're feeling good about ourselves and super positive. We're getting shit done. We're super productive.
Check.
Yeah, exactly.
Check
We're on
list.
it, right? So we're so on our shit. And then we'll just go into the slump. And it never occurred to me to like see what's going on in the sky. Where's retrograde?
Right.
Where are things in my sign in particular, and how are they affecting me? Because
Which
I
is
think
bigger. Yeah. If
so
you can get into that.
I really think that for me, I'm like, whew, it's not me.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's just a retrograde on top of Capricorn season. I mean, so we had 3 planets retrograde for a while, and I'm only talking about Mercury today, just because it would be a lot to go into all of them. But Mars retrograde's ending today. I believe it's today. It could have been yesterday. Is it to the 12th? Yeah, today. And Mars is also, when it's in retrograde, it's like the planet of inaction. So look at all of these forces. So Capricorn season comes along. They're like, hey, people, let's start getting things done. Let's put some structure here. Let's improve ourselves. Let's, do all the things that make us our better selves. And then you have Mercury and Mars in retrograde, and they're like, no, I think we're going to sit here and do nothing and maybe feel like crap about ourselves. And then really question everything and be indecisive. And then we're going to withdraw from people. So there's like,
oh my gosh, I
things.
totally did that. I remember like a whole 5 days or something when I didn't see her, and I see her like every day. This
almost
is over
every day.
Almost every day.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, what is the matter with me? And like,
why am I not reaching out?
So I see, Tracy, I read your note that you couldn't even get yourself together enough to do your tarot spread for the year.
Oh,
we did ours.
We
like
can top
we,
that.
yeah.
we 4 stars. We sat down and we were like, you guys, it's the first of the year. We need to do this.
Yeah, and it took us like, I think you got yours
a
done.
Week,
yeah, it was a week later. And then when we did the reading, it was so weird because it was just like, oh,
we didn't feel the connection. We're like, something's really off here.
Yeah.
So we've already decided we're redoing it because
these cards just really don't. I still wrote everything down.
Yeah, still
but
record
then
it.
I realized that maybe I need to go back and either do clarifying cards for those cards, like cards on top of cards. If you guys know what clarifying cards are, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, well, a clarifying card in tarot is when you flip a card and you don't connect with it, or the message that it's trying to send you, you're like, I don't really see how that's relevant in my life. I don't understand. Like, you don't understand where the card fits.
Like,
what
it's just
about.
Like way out there in left field,
you know? So then field. You can you can pull something called a clarifying card, where you can shuffle again however you want to pull the card, but you pull another card over the top of it to add clarification, and hopefully he's knocking the camera. We have tankers down.
You can let him out. You want to let him go?
Do you want to
go, buddy? But you're not going to go back and forth.
No, he's just staying right at our feet and knocking the camera. If you guys see us shaking, we're not in a car or anything. We just have tankers like sniffing around at our feet and knocking into the table.
He's not really for sitting when he's like, wait, there's a whole thing out there that I can go explore.
So that clarifying card, you just pull it and lay it over the top to give you more meaning on the card you already had. And even if that doesn't work, it's like, okay, if that doesn't work for me, I'll like sage, I'll ring a bell, I'll like do a singing bowl, I'll walk around. I'm like, okay. Let me
shake it off.
Like shake it off. Let me reconnect with my team of light. So I like put a mental image in my head and ask them, I'm like, I'm trying to find out about blank, and I'm pulling a card for that answer. And so hopefully after that, it definitely comes up. I've never had to go beyond that. That's when I tell them, hey guys, get it together, get off your lunch break, come help me. Then the cards usually get
and the
better.
guys we're talking about, of course, your team of light, whatever you call your spirit guide, universe, angels, whatever you call the people source that are there on the other side, helping you get messages from the other side. So
or the universe in general.
Or the universe. Yeah.
So I had some questions for you guys as far as for reflection, because, like Kat said, she didn't really know why she felt this way. And it's not until we acknowledge it and then reflect on it and go, oh, all right, well, now that makes sense. Sometimes it's a lot easier to understand astrology after it's already happened. And you can be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was in a bad mood for like 5 days and didn't want to talk to anybody. I thought that was weird. And so then you can blame it on a retrograde or a changing of the sign or something. But it's like, record if you've been feeling out of sorts. Like if your New Year's just didn't take off the way that you wanted it to or thought it would, like maybe before Christmas, because Capricorn season starts, the 21st, 22nd. That is the time where we start feeling like, ooh, let's get a lot of stuff done. And if you kind of had that motivation and just slowly lost your list, stopped doing it, and you're like, oh, now how do I get started? Because it gets you in that slump. And then what mishaps have you had? So bad communication. We had right after, I'm talking like the next day after Mercury retrograde, I got into a pretty big fight with my son, which caused then a pretty big fight with my husband. And so the whole house, we were like on introvert lockdown where none of us spoke for 4 days straight. Yeah. And that was literally the day after retrograde. And I wasn't even counting that. I just, it just happened. And now reflecting, I was like, oh yeah, that was a big one for miscommunication, for not understanding what each other needed. And we still haven't all talked about it. We're just like, we'll just pretend like it didn't happen and discuss it later because it's still retrograde, so you're like, you can wait to try to uncover what's going on.
So I want to read a couple of our notes because I saw Selena. I think Selena said that her New Year has been terrible. I feel you, babe. I do. I feel I wouldn't go, I wouldn't say terrible, but not great for me anyway, my personal experience. Although I made some headway, I actually wrote some things down. I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a list.
Yes.
And then I keep going, the things that I want to get done because I have all these little things. So I hope that improves for you soon. I'm sure that it will.
Yeah, because retrograde of Mars ends today. And then next week on Wednesday, Mercury will end. And then we don't have any retrogrades for several, I want to say months. It could be like 2 months that nobody's retrograde. And we've had like everybody in retrograde lately. So hopefully things will start to pan out a little bit better. But
so Billy says that she pulled a card and it didn't make any sense. And then she pulled a card again and it was the same card. So Billy, what I always do is I don't put my first card back. So I did that yesterday. I had the five of wands and it's like sadness, turmoil, upset, all this stuff. I was like, what? So I was like, okay, I need to clarify this. So I left that card out, shuffled the deck, pulled another card, and I got the world. And I was like, oh my gosh. So what that told me is like,
opposite.
I know. Well, what it told me is like, whatever hardship I'm going to go through, it's all going to be okay. So
It's for a
I don't
purpose.
put my card back. And I think that's, because you don't want to get the same card again.
I mean, if you do, when I was doing my card a day draws, I would get the same card like several times in 1 week. I'm like, okay, what? I read it already. What do you want me? I can't make this happen super fast. What do you want from me? So that happens so often that I actually started keeping track of it. And when I got them, and I started to see over a 6-month period, I was like, wow, I get this card a lot. Like, what does it really mean for me? What am I truly transitioning through? What does it want me to work on? So
yeah,
that's something for, the universe is like, in your face, it's happening right here.
Selena, I just made my list a couple of days ago and it's like, the middle of the month, right?
Yeah. Well, we're laughing because we just put all these lives together to see everybody on Tuesday. We're a little ahead of the end of the retrograde, but I guess since Mars is ending it, so I'm like, I'm feeling the go, Mom. It's action time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we sat down and brainstormed a bunch and we're like, we need to be back on. We need to see our people. We need to hear them, So instead of doing the regular meetup is going through some changes, and I can't honestly say how long we might be on there just because they're starting to force us to make a whole nother app in order to connect with people. So it's going to be confusing, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to hide it from you.
Uh-oh.
I don't want you to have one more thing to worry about. I'll take care of it as it comes.
All right. So the other thing happened to you is
I didn't pick my word.
You didn't pick your word for the year. So Jayme always picks a word for the year. And I was going to try to do that. And I had one and then it slipped away because I didn't write it down. And so now I'm like having to find that groove again to where I can say, what is this year going to be about for me?
Yeah, it's like a goal word. So last year my word was community, and I made big efforts to stay in contact with people, to have gatherings at my home, to really ignite and keep relationships going in a community sense, not just for like a one-on-one friend thing, but in a bigger circle. So I feel like I achieved it. I did really well for myself, but it has been extremely hard to come up with a word for this year. Again, I'm just in a funk. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with anything. This is really difficult. It boggles my mind.
So this is funny. I have to share this because Jamie's talking, so I'm reading, but Tracy says it was funny to get all those notifications Tuesday.
Listen, when that happens, be like, oh, what transition's happening now? The girls are on it. All of a sudden, something sparked a fire, and then it's like,
we lit a fire. Yeah, we sat here.
That's what happened. And I don't know. We didn't plan to do that.
We did not plan to do it. Yeah.
It just happened. We were like, hey, let's do all of our things like right now.
Well, we knew we wanted to do a YouTube. We'd been talking about YouTube Live for a couple of weeks. And of course, the holidays and all the things that were going on. And after the holidays and cleaning up. And then she had company and all this kind of stuff. So we just didn't get to it. And then I came by one night and she's like, yeah, Thursday, let's do it. And then we just boom. We just started scheduling them. So.
And then she's like, well, let's do it Monday and Thursday. I was like, dang, okay, let's do it. We'll just like be all over that. Got it. So now we have a bunch of them scheduled. So this is to keep in contact while we're not doing the series, the Beginner Witch series, just to stay present and say hi and hear all you guys and your ideas and thoughts.
Okay.
All right.
So we're going to talk about Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo.
Yeah, the madness behind all this.
Okay. You want to talk about that?
No, you can read some. I'm going to sip my tea.
Oh, okay. So Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Mars direct today and Mercury direct Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was side notes.
How this affects us. Why New Year's resolutions may have felt hard or delayed. Mercury retrograde makes the mind reflective instead of forward thinking. It makes your mind turn inward, which can make you withdraw from people. You may also start negative self-talk. Hello. Being too critical on yourself. These habits can cause communication issues, unable to express your thoughts, and feel more introverted. I absolutely relate with that.
Yeah.
On top of that, Mars was also retrograde, which really hinders our decision making.
It's like we can't make decisions to take action.
Yeah, it delays our action.
It definitely slumps you. Like, that's what I think of that as. And, of course, because I'm Virgo rising, and that just rules everything about me, even though I'm a Pisces sun. I had to go back and look, how many years has it been Mercury? How many years did we start out in Mercury retrograde at New Year? And so it is like every 3 years this happens, but Mars is also not usually in retrograde. So that's why I'm feeling like this year is much harder than past years, because I think that the New Year slowing down is not bad. Like Mercury being in charge of communication and sort of slowing down on that, and taking a break after the holidays. I feel like that's right, so that you can get into the Capricorn vibe of let's create a structure and plans, and what do I want to do better? And that's making the New Year's resolutions or committing to new habits. Perfect Capricorn stuff.
Or starting projects,
and
especially if it requires learning, because your mind you're not in your right mind.
Yeah. Learning something new at the beginning of the year, if Mercury's in retrograde, no, you could buy like an app. You're like, I'm buying, Babbel or whatever. I'm going to learn a new language. And you buy it, and 2 weeks later, you're like, oh man, why did I buy that? Because you've been in retrograde. It's like, you have no desire to learn. Your brain's like, kaput. It's like, no, there's no thinking and learning going on. I'm reflecting, maybe even ruminating. I mean, this is when you're sort of in your own head about stuff. It's why then you start to judge yourself, and that's why the negative self-talk comes. And
so do we have any Geminis on tonight? If you are a Gemini, when Mercury is in retrograde, since Mercury rules Gemini, when in retrograde, you may feel trapped. Ooh, that's a feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. Virgo's also ruled by Mercury, which both of us are Virgo rising. So any Virgos or anyone with Virgo strong in your chart, the Virgo energy may feel uninspired to improve, or anything that is too much.
Like your
the to-do list.
Yeah.
So my personal thing, I think I told you about making my list. I just decided, let me just write all the things down, even though I can't get them done right now. I know that, but I'll make the list. And what's funny is, like, I thought I had everything, and then I start remembering, oh yeah, and I want to do this. Oh yeah.
Things.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm adding to the list. So in my journal, which I started for my 64th year around the sun, I made this whole list. I've got this 2023 list. It's just going to be things I want to get accomplished around the house or personally. So. But it took me 2 weeks. Well, almost 2 weeks.
Still happening. It's still happening.
Does it feel like we're already like a month into the year,
Yeah.
and it's the 12th?
Yeah.
It's like, gosh.
I know. I already feel like I'm in March. I feel like a lot of time has gone by, but I also feel like I've done nothing.
So Nikki's like, none of this makes sense to me. Aw, have you been to one? Well, come to our beginning witch class that starts on the 6th of March. That's going to be every Monday night at 7 p.m. for 13 weeks. And I think you'll get a lot out of that, Nikki.
She might also mean like the rising or
okay.
Sometimes that can be pretty confusing.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we do touch on astrology,
yes.
but we don't take a deep dive into it because it is a whole course in and of itself. There's so much to learn.
Yeah. I don't know if I could teach astrology just because I don't feel like I could ever do it justice.
Yeah.
Because it is just a lot.
Yeah.
But beginner stuff is really good. Knowing your rising is just how you present yourself every day. So you find the rising, what is happening there is like you're born in a season, right? So I was born in Pisces season, which lasts from February 22nd or 21st or 20th. Love that I don't know that. Through March 19th, 20th, somewhere in there. And so you're born in that season, but then every day the constellations rotate around our Earth. So whatever time you're born at, there's a sign that's on the horizon, and that is your rising sign. That's why it's called that. And it rules the personality of you, kind of the everyday living side of you.
So we have somebody, Victoria, who's just started a new job and she's having a tough time. So can you even imagine starting a brand new job at this time right now?
Is it with people, or is it just, well, if you have to learn something new, the learning is inhibited right now. I mean, the communication skills are inhibited.
So when can we look for relief? That's what, that's going to be our next subject. And how do we get through this? So first of all, when does the relief come? Because we're coming out of it.
We're coming out of it now, yeah. And most retrogrades only last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4, but not usually. And they happen a couple of times a year. And it is time for us that we can take to slow down and really look at how we're communicating, what we're focused on, where we might have problems in relationships, expressing what we need or want. And so it comes up, 3 to 4 times a year.
The next one is not until April. So the next Mercury retrograde is like April 21st. So we've got some time before we deal with this again. And despite what you might hear when people are like, the planet's moving backwards. No, it's not actually moving backwards.
It just physically cannot move backwards. But what happens is that when it's in its rotation around the sun, so Mercury's closest to the sun and it goes around the sun really fast, faster than all the other planets. So when it is rounding the sun and it's getting on, like us looking at it, because retrograde is only from our viewpoint, like if you were in a different spot, it would look different. But we're looking at Mercury and it's going around the curve of the sun, getting ready to go through its transit. And then it looks like it stops and almost moves backwards because it's gone around and moving to the back side of it. So in its path, it actually looks like it's reversing for a second before it's around the other side of the sun, which is just fun to think about, like visually. It's one of those like those weird puzzles where you look at it and you're like, it looks like it's close, it looks like it's big or small.
Is it a duck or a bird, or is it a woman or a duck?
The old woman and the young woman is
okay. The old woman and the young woman. I remember
it's an
animals.
Illusion.
Yes, exactly. So so let's see. Joellen broke her phone.
Oh, that's a communication device. You guys, just before going live, I was trying to print our little notes and my printer was just not having it. We started trying to print at like 6:20. For some reason, first thing that happened, it printed on note cards. I'm like, I didn't even know I had note card paper in my printer. And it was like top shelf out of paper. And I'm like, what did it print? It printed on little tiny note cards. I'm like, what? That is not a setting I've ever had on my printer ever. And then it was like out of paper. And I kept messing with it. And I'm like, I don't understand. Then finally I realized that it wasn't on letter. And I had to print that. And then it was like out of ink. I'm like, it's not in color. It just means black and white. It's fine. So it took me almost 40 minutes tonight just to print my lesson. And that was the communication part of this. So I'm like, what the heck? That was odd. I don't have problems with it very well, ever, I guess, unless I'm out of ink. And
Steven's one of our Capricorns. There may be others on here, but Steven stepped up and said it was really tough for him. Just really kicked his butt, especially around the full moon.
Well, full moon can be very draining. For me, I'm really sleepy at full moon, which I don't like because I want to go out and be with the moon. And then new moon, I'm wide awake. I'm like, what in the world?
And that's so funny because I am the exact opposite. So at full moon, I'm like, whoo, high energy. New moon, not so much.
Yeah. And I'm like, stay up all night. Yeah. So with Capricorn season, you having a couple of planets retrograde at the beginning of that. I know Uranus just went back direct, and then you've got Mars that is going direct today. Thank goodness, because when Mars is not direct, it stops us from taking action, and your sign is all about action and taking steps to get better and like figuring stuff out and solving things. And Mars is over here like, no, I'm going to be a couch potato and watch Netflix. I don't want to do anything.
And, I was just thinking about that. It's like, I think when we go through these periods of time where we really don't understand why our energy's so low and why we just want to withdraw from everybody and just, Netflix and chill or stay in bed, play hooky, stuff like that.
Watch Instagram reels for 3 hours.
I think, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty hard on myself when I'm not doing what I think I should be doing and what I want to be doing. And I just don't have it. But I think this is a time where we give ourselves grace and just be like, I think you know, my body needs this right now. It needs this downtime. It needs this withdrawal time. So I guess that's one of the things, if we were saying like, how do we get through these periods of time where the you know, things are messed up, the energies are like,
They're
conflicting.
off.
They're off. Yeah.
From what we're
So,
normally
you know,
doing.
one thing is to like, just kind of
embrace it.
Yeah. Try to embrace it. Self-care, you
know that it's a slow down time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, spend more time on yourself and just sort of pampering yourself, and hot baths, or, you know, long showers, or
and then
naps.
don't make commitments to start new projects, because you already know like the energy in the universe is not up for that right now. It's more about like slowing down. And so even telling people like, no, I can't help you with that, or let's not start that until after this date, and then let's see where it goes, because you might feel more energetic after that time, or even more excited about the project. And so there's this thing with me and my sister where we don't speak the same language when we're trying to describe things to each other. It's really annoying and horrible, because on every other level we can read each other's minds, but if she's trying to describe a detailed thing of what she wants to do, we never get each other. So we don't even try during retrogrades. We're like, come show me. And now there's no talking it out. I need just show me in life, like write it. I need to see it, because the talking part is already usually messed up. So it really gets bad during retrograde for us in Mercury.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during this time, if you're feeling this energy strongly, if it's affecting your life, take some time to do some self-care and just give yourself a break, and don't be hard on yourself. Because and I say that, and I'm always hard on myself, but I need to work on
she doesn't take her own advice, but she's acknowledging it.
Here's the thing is that I wasn't thinking like, why am I feeling this way? You know, what is going on in my life that I'm feeling this way? I was just sort of feeling it and not really understanding it. So
that's where the reflection part comes in. You know, I think that in most of my life, when I had hard times, I didn't immediately turn to astrology and go, all right, which planet's making me crazy this time? But in a way, you can start to see these patterns that emerge for yourself. It can be specific times of year that like stuff breaks in your house, or things go wrong, or you end relationships, or you start new relationships. And that means that season really lines up with the energy of that for you. And of course, it's different for all of us, but there's a theme throughout the year of sort of how the energy flows and what we do. So reflection during Mercury retrogrades, to really journal it out, write your feelings down, because it's the communication goes inward instead of like being good at communicating outward. So even therapy, I mean, I would think therapy would probably be, if that's something that you wanted to try, I don't think that would be a bad thing to start, because you start to talk about your inner feelings, things coming from the inside, and just getting comfortable with that. Yeah. I love Capricorn season. I'm really sad that I kind of missed the whole energy of it because of the retrogrades. I'm a get shit done kind of person, and I didn't. It was really hard to just sit around and not feel like I wanted to do anything. Every single day I was like, oh, I feel like I have weights on my legs. I don't want to get moving. We've skipped the gym way more than we would like to admit during these last 2 weeks. Right?
That's true. It is. I'm sort of feeling like a slug about that, but we'll get back to it. So tomorrow we're going. This has been a really off week for us, and we have been on the gym for like this is our 6 months of going. And but the last couple of weeks have been really tough, and over the holidays it was tough. But right now it's just like, So tomorrow we're going to go, and we're just going to do whatever routine, because we have a routine that we do, each day. On routine. And tomorrow we're just going to mix it up and do what we feel. We're going to be loosey goosey with whatever strikes our fancy when we get in there, So
that's helping keep away the blues about not having structure during Capricorn season. Just be like, okay, well, maybe I'll do something artistic with no rules, no boundaries, because it's really hard to make those commitments right now.
So Tracy had a therapy session today she said that, what'd she say? I had a really good therapy session today, but then wasn't able to communicate with my boss. about work stuff.
Yeah. So exactly, right? You can do the inner stuff, but then getting your expressions outward is such a sign of the retrograde.
Well, and I wonder if also your boss is affected. How's your boss being
Sure.
affected by
Everybody's
this?
affected by
Yeah. So
whether they like to know it or
there's-
not.
Yeah, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
We're all affected by what's going on in the skies, and
Yeah. All the little energy strings pulling at us every day.
mhm.
Even watching your emotional cycle, we have the sleep cycles. We have lots of hormonal cycles that we go throughout our whole lives, men and women. And so even knowing where you're at in that, so you could really double down if you're like in a certain hormonal cycle as these things occur. I said to my mom the other day, I was like, I don't know why I'm really irritated with everybody today. Like, that's not my normal. I'm like,
You did say that.
yeah, I was like, I just need to go out and garden because I might just be rude or something. I don't know. Or I'll get my feelings hurt. I was just kind of in a funk. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I went and planted stuff instead. The dirt doesn't care if I throw it around and get mad at it. So it's totally fine. And I'm gentle with my plants. I can't be mad at them. So yeah. But for communication, if you can't get the things across that you want to, and Kat's talking about writing stuff down, write down the things that you might want to say to somebody if it comes up, but you're unable to really express it, and that way you can address it later. That's something that I've done with some of my bosses in the past, is where I'm like, ooh, okay, this is not a good time, but there will be a good time. There'll be what feels like an easier time to all of a sudden go, hey, so remember that time a couple weeks ago where blah, blah, blah happened? And, here's how I was feeling about that. And I really couldn't speak on it, but now I've thought about it. And this is how I felt. This is what it was. This is what I was going through, and you can ask somebody else the same thing, like, what was going on with you? Or how did you feel through this? And be inquisitive for their feelings as well. Because like we said, everybody's affected by it. It's kind of a hard thing to ignore.
Well, I was just thinking about, we've encountered several very rude people when we were out shopping. Like, remember the lady?
Oh,
just
the lady. It was just comical. I don't know. That was just funny. She was oblivious.
Oblivious.
Well, I don't know. She was staring directly at us and then just walked in front of us anyways and then stopped. It was very odd. We were like, pretty sure we just looked at each other in the face, and I feel like you saw me,
but don't you think that, do you ever look but don't see? Like you're looking ahead, maybe you even make eye contact with somebody.
No, because I'm hypervigilant, so it's harder for that to happen with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why. So for me, it can't, but I've seen people do it, and I know people that are just truly unaware of their surroundings, and they're like, what?
Well, the woman, we got pedicures today, and then a woman sat down across from us, and I make eye contact with her. And usually when you make eye contact, I do with someone, I try to acknowledge and be like a little smile or something like that. Nothing, right? Nothing. I was like,
through.
Yeah. So like, I feel like she either didn't see me or, I think it happens in our world today where it's really busy and you're just kind of in your own world, in your own thoughts. And so we forget there's other people and forget to consider them and just be friendly and nice and spread kindness and not cut them off. And
what was really interesting is we all left she was there after us and we went to a different store. And as we were coming out of the store, she was walking in. I was like, it's the lady. It's the same girl. Like, that's just, and I didn't say anything to her, but I was going to be extra nice. I like being extra nice to people when they're, I don't know, maybe she's having a bad day, but.
Well, that's true. I think extra nice is always nice. It's always a nice thing to do because why not? Why not?
If you can help somebody have a better day.
Yeah. Why not spread that around? If you can just put out the joy or kindness into the world, we need it. We need more of that.
Yeah, I think.
You never know what people are going through.
Yeah. I think that, giving somebody a compliment is the quickest way to change their attitude, to make them feel better. And you can usually find something that you find interesting or that you like about somebody, even if it's just like.
I had two little old ladies wink at me today. It was so cute.
Random.
I was like, okay, so why can't I wink like that? I'm like, it's more like
I'm a
wincer.
She winces. She doesn't wink. She's like,
I'm trying, but it looks more like I'm in pain.
Or she's got things in her eyeballs, like her contact's gonna fall out.
I think winking is just the cutest thing, and to have two little ladies wink at me today. I was just like, oh, it's like this secret communication, where they're like, it's all right, hun, whatever the message is. I just love it.
It's cute.
Who's a winker on here? Do you wink at people? If you do, I want to know. Wink at me.
See, growing up, I wouldn't wink at people because I thought that was flirtatious. That was like a flirtatious thing to do. So maybe when you're 80 and you wink at people, nobody's going, she wants me. Like, they're more like, she's a super sweet old lady. I love that. Yeah. So it could be
Tracy.
too. Yes.
Thank you.
Winks. I'm not sure I've winked at many people ever. I just know how to do it.
I just love it. It's a charming, I think, gesture that you don't see that much anymore.
Yes.
So
that's true.
Okay. And none of your business. Thank you, none of your business.
Lots of winking.
I love it.
I don't know. I've never.
And Joellen. Oh, wink it back. Try not to wince.
It's the mouth. It's the mouth for me when she tries. She's concentrating on that eye so hard her mouth goes like. She doesn't know what to do with her lips. We'll have to have you practice.
We're gonna have to practice. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
Does anybody have any questions? Comments?
7:35.
7:30.
Yeah.
It's a short one, but
it's a check-in. It's the first of many, So
yeah, we're gonna be back on Monday. Guys, probably
Monday.
Well, I know Tracy saw all our invites for you.
Ding, ding, ding. It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah, so we're just trying to pull some things that people would be interested in, get together. Because again, we're not the beginner series doesn't start until March.
Yeah,
we got a little break over Christmas, and we're just feeling like we want to connect with all of our witch friends that are out there.
And I love the seasonal energies. That's something that that's probably one of the first things that got me into actual witchcraft and into paganism, if you could say that, is noticing the seasons and then how things change and all the connections that are there. I love it. So between planet transitions and seasonal zodiacs, I'm always finding connections that just amaze me and also kind of tell me, this might be why you're feeling this way, and it's usually reflective, you guys. I'm not going, oh man, that retrograde's coming up. I better prepare for a hard time. I don't. I go into all of it thinking like nothing's going to change. I'm super happy. Everything's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
But then after situations happen, I'm like, oh, let's look at why this felt hard. Like, why was this difficult? Or, what was going on?
Why was I annoyed with everything that day, So do you use your witch book, the one that we get, the Llewellyn book that comes out that's got all the...
I do. Didn't I?
Is that what you use?
There?
Is that what you use for your reference? No, I don't know where it is.
I do use that. I definitely.
It's a witch's date book.
Yeah,
and
it's the spiral calendar one. That's like $12. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you, Denise.
Thanks, Denise. We appreciate you too. We appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
So the Witch's Date book, I think that's what it's called. It's a Llewellyn. It's a little spiral book. They issue them every month. If anyone knows the actual
not the almanac. It's not the almanac.
Yeah, it has every day and it tells you what's going on. So
transitions, colors, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it could be a good reference. I was using it and then writing something down, like, how was I feeling? It also says like color of the day in there. So I was trying to dress the color of the day, but I didn't always have the color, like gold. It's like, I don't have gold. Well,
gold jewelry, maybe. Well, you start to expand and think about it. You're like, oh, okay, I don't need to wear like a, 70s gold shimmer shirt. But you could.
Steven inadvertently winked at the HR manager. Oh my gosh.
I'm not normally a winker.
I'm glad she didn't file a complaint.
It's, see?
Because they can, as a man especially, like you really have to be careful.
Yeah. So. I think if a guy winked at me, I think that he was flirting. But that might just be me because that's how I think of winks,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I feel weird. Now I feel weird about winking. So it's becoming a whole thing.
Well, and I can't wink, I wince.
So she's going around.
So I definitely don't want to look like that. So Selena has a Witch's Date book. Yes. It's your third year of using it. Good for you. Man, I didn't order mine. They probably are out, but
they're not. They were only out in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was the year where nothing really got printed. It was really hard to get any of the books. But yeah, and then after the year starts, you can usually get it for like $10 or something. But In the very back of it, I think the whole reason we were bringing this up was for the retrogrades, like a super easy printed list, which you can probably find on the internet as well. So you don't have to buy the book just for that, but it has lots of other good stuff in it. So it just lists all of the retrogrades out, and then I get on my phone, and in my calendar, I actually make all of the retrogrades in my calendar so that I can see every day when I open my calendar. I'm like, what's today? Okay, I got somebody's going direct, somebody's being a retrograde. I'm in this season. I'm like, okay, so the feeling around this is and I try to assess it like that so that as I move through my own energies, I'm kind of more in an understanding of, you can look at several things. What season are you in? What the moon cycle's in? What planets are transiting? I forgot what else. I thought there was 4. Transiting planets.
Void, of course, is in there.
I mean, yeah, the moon's void, of course, every time it changes signs, every 2.5 days.
So we've got a couple of people that Jenny just bought hers and they're half price. Thank you guys for that information. I'm going to, I haven't spent any money on Amazon this week, so it's time.
She's got to fill her quota for Amazon stuff.
Goodness gracious, my whole credit card bill, Amazon. Like, what am I buying?
Told her December doesn't count because it's just a really odd month. December is kind of just that gifting month.
It's a gifting month for sure.
Yes. So as you look at retrogrades or planets going direct in those books, it's just helpful to keep it in mind. So if you are having an off day, you're like, all right, damn it, what is going on today? Oh, okay.
I think that I was paying attention to it at one point in time to see what planet was in whatever was the ruling planet for the day. So there'll be like the moon is in, or is it the moon or what's in a certain planet for like 2 days at a time, and then it moves through. The moon's moving. The moon's moving. And so I find like I'm much more. I have a different energies depending on where the cycles of those are. Like it's Gemini, and so I was sort of tracking that to see if I could make some connection between which planet was in the moon at certain times and how it's feeling, how energetic.
Which zodiac sign the moon was in?
Yes, thank you. That's what I am trying to say. Thank you for that.
Which zodiac sign the moon is in as it goes through its days.
So this is like, every couple of days you notice. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm super in tune with my moods and my mood swings.
Moods and mood swings.
I really notice it because some days I wake up, man, I'm just so happy and gung ho, and boy, I can just get stuff done. It's just woo.
It's easy. It feels like an easy day.
It's a super easy day. And other days, as soon as I turn on my computer and somebody sends me an email, I'm like, her.
No, I love it in the morning when she's got to go to work. She's like, she drags herself over to her desk because
I'm close to retirement and I'm tired of working. I'm tired. I want to not work and do what I want to do, which is this, and not have to go to a job every day. But I'm not there yet.
Just a couple more years.
It gets tough at the end, you guys. Yeah. Sorry to tell you this, all you youngsters, that still got like 30 years to work, but
that's why you should do something you love.
It gets tough toward the end where you're just like, I'm done with this work stuff. I just want to, be retired and have my passion projects or travel and, or just not get up and clock in. I don't clock in, but, I get on my computer every day. That's kind of my clock.
She's very dedicated to her work. So she actually probably doesn't have the healthiest boundary when it comes to her work and her personal time. She'll go over and beyond that. There's many fences and yards she's jumping through to get to.
It's true.
What they need.
It's true.
It is. I know. It's a valuable thing about you.
It's my work ethic. It's I can't help myself. It's just like give it all and
then be mad later.
Give it all, but be mad about it.
Yeah. I'm going to do all these extra things, but I am not doing it happily. I love it. Show me there. And the jobs that are like entry level jobs where you're doing data entry and you're like,
oh yeah,
I'm not a data entry person. Yeah. This is I don't want to say beneath me. That sounds weird, but it's a waste of your time because you're so much more skilled.
They're paying me way too much money to be a data entry person.
Right. I know. Yeah.
That's not where my skill set
is. It's a little wasteful.
I can do it, and I do it good, but that was a long time ago that I did that. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for your comments tonight. It's really fun interacting with you and reading your notes. And let's see.
And for
Do we
everybody
wanna
who's
wrap?
everybody who's been having a tough time with this too shall pass. It's just a season and it's almost ending.
Hang in there.
And it should start feeling lighter pretty soon. But with Capricorn season being gone, we are getting ready to go into Aquarius season. So we're doing a session on that as well, because I feel like a lot of people probably spaced out during the Capricorn, get stuff done, organize your life, like take advantage of that. So I'm going to help people in Aquarius season kind of reignite the new year, maybe 3 weeks late, because that's exactly what I'm going to do, because my first few weeks of the year just weren't right. I think I was in a void somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right.
And even though it's like, what's your New Year's resolution? And we feel pressure to decide that day what our goals are going to be for the year. It's like a season of it. So heck, if it takes you till Easter or whatever, till March to Astara, or Imbolc or whatever, then that's okay. Just give yourself a break.
Yeah.
And there goes Tank.
He's heading over. All right, we'll go all the way through. Pass by the table. That's shaky shakes.
Lean
over there.
Okay, so Billy's in Aquarius.
Ooh, Aquarius season.
We have a couple of Aquarius. And Denise.
Yes, Aquarius.
All right.
Perfect. Well, Aquarius season can be used by all because it is the helper. It is like the friend, community person of the zodiac. So I have not made very many Aquarius friends, which is weird, but they're great people to know. They're very helpful. And so the season of Aquarius is usually about using your resources, meaning people, seeing people as connections, and not in a selfish way, but in a let's all rise together kind of way. So looking for people that can help you with that. Yeah. So next week, I'm pretty sure we have I don't know. We did 8 all at the same time. So I gotta be honest,
we do a couple. We do a couple. Do we have a new moon? No, it wouldn't be new moon. Yeah, it would be new moon. Aquarius, new moon in Aquarius, and then just Aquarius energies. So we're going into that month where we can be.
And talking about that this year equals a 7. This is a spiritual year. Yay. It's my number. I'm a 7. So I'm very excited about that. In numerology, you guys, not in, I forget what the other one is where we're also a number. Oh, I can't think of that system. There's another system where you get a number as well. But in numerology, this year equals a 7. And that is the spiritual connection. That's the higher learning. And so it's going to be a great year for us because we're all about that.
that was I'm trying to pinpoint the word, but that's what I feel like. I said spirituality, but that's so broad. I want to narrow it down because I really want to learn this year. I want to focus on growth and learning in terms of what I'm trying to do with the witch community and here with the stuff that Jayme and I are building.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to focus, because I think that's elevating. I feel like
it is community building, elevating. Yes. Getting people together.
Okay. So Nikki, can you explain how does it mean 7? Okay. So can you tell her?
Yeah.
Can you tell everyone?
2 + 2 + 3. That's it. So the year equals a 7. So last year was 222, and that equals 6. So this year just equals 7. That's it. You just add the numbers together to get one single number. That's it.
Does that make sense, Nikki?
Yeah. And if
numerology,
if you do a search on the internet, you don't need to buy a book or anything, but you'll see a lot of stuff pull up for, what does it mean for a 7 year? People are already writing about it. And I love that. That there's articles all over the place. I have found some of the weirdest, not weird, I don't buy Cosmopolitan, or there's another one that I'm like, I know the name of that from so long ago, and I didn't know they still put out articles, and now they're writing about witch stuff.
Yeah, Cosmopolitan. I was like, was that an actual good resource? Because I used to
they have a whole astrology thing and writers on it and tarot people, and I was impressed with the website. When I do searches for things to give references for people, there's a lot of good information, free information out there about numerology and zodiac signs and stuff like that. So don't ever feel pressured.
And numerology in itself is just such a fascinating subject, as fascinating as astrology, but I think it's easier to learn because there's not so much. Astrology is just, it goes so deep.
They're big concepts.
Huge. Mm-hmm. But numerology is much simpler, I feel like. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Which we'll be doing a course on that inside of the New Witches Academy eventually after the first course comes out, which, if you guys know, I'm like, it's launching in January, but after having 2 weeks of being in a void myself, I'm like, I don't know that I'll get the first one all the way completed to have it up for people to get into by the end of the month. So that is a confession for me. It's really hard because I'm a perfectionist.
That's the first time you put that out there.
I know,
so
it's difficult. I don't want to admit it to myself.
I know that's hard.
I know
that's hard for you.
Ugh, yeah. So as we, like Cass said earlier, I do love this saying. It's like, just have grace with yourself. Like, just be easy on yourself. You're only trying to accomplish so much, and the rest of it you're just putting on yourself and stressing yourself out. Like, nobody else is, their life is not ending because you didn't do the thing. Like, that's what it really comes down to. If nobody's dying, then you're okay to wait another day,
including
or a month,
including you,
including us,
including
your pride might be hurt. Or like you wanted to, you put yourself in a place to get a goal and then you don't achieve it. Like, what ends up hurting in you when you don't achieve it? And everybody else is going, hey, it's okay. Like, that's all right. Don't worry. It'll be fine. So, yes.
Tell yourself that it's okay. It'll be fine.
That's having grace with yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, just, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy. I know. I can't wait to get just the first lesson all the way through to where people can get on and go through that, because I have some testers.
We did spend part of the Christmas vacation writing everything. So we've got all the outlines for the videos, and Jayme has started making the videos for the courses. We have a list of all the downloadables that are going to be part of it. But it's, guys, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's
a lot of time.
It's a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then she's been trying to work on her office. So we're in Jayme's little office here.
My recording studio.
The recording studio office. But there's just all these little things that happen. Like, so we got ready to start this, and we can hear the refrigerator out in there because we're down in the basement, and there's a refrigerator, and we have to go. She has to go turn it off.
Turn it off.
Just turn it off because you can hear everything. So.
Yeah. And then I'm directly under the master bathroom. So I told my husband, I was like, hey, don't flush the toilet during this hour. And he's like, what? I was like, honey, I'm directly under all of this. Don't drop anything on the ground. Don't flush the toilet. I need you to just be silent up there.
So while this is a great room, it has its challenges because it's, anywhere where you're recording or anything like that.
It picks up every
little noise. And so I'm like trying to make suggestions like, well, you could do it in the upstairs bedroom. Well, that room's hot. And then
it gets hot.
This room down here gets hot too. And then the summer. So it's just been, she's getting there. She's getting there. So
the universe is leading me to the right place of where I'm supposed to be.
And she's super hard on herself. Like, I should just be able to work through this and, not be so annoyed with these things that like the refrigerator or the plumbing or
my pool pump. The pool decides to kick on. The moment I hit record, I'm like, what? So this is, I don't know if this is communication part of the retrograde, but no joke, since the beginning of the year, I've been in here trying to, record, and I'm doing stuff and all that. And it gets so frustrating because I'm like, I have to go turn the AC up so the AC doesn't kick on because it's in the next wall over. And it's got a unit outside that's like right here. Then behind me is the pool pump. Then over here is the refrigerator. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, I can't. I'm literally
so we started brainstorming like where else could we record? Some people record in a storage unit. Yeah, in a storage unit.
Totally make that into
hey, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. It'd be inexpensive, like what, $100 a month or something compared to because I said, well, it's time for us to get a building, like the real thing, right?
But yeah, so that's been part of my quirky void that I've been going through for that.
Yeah. So Billy, when I'm working, like on Monday morning, everybody is mowing their grass and weed eating and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm not trying to record, but that's the thing too. Like, when do the lawn people come? And because you hear everything.
People. So mine are on Saturday morning, so I don't have to worry too much about that. But then, all right, so I get all the electronic stuff turned off. And then guess what happens? My cats are like, oh, you're recording? We're going to go out here and start messing with this bag and scratching at this thing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So then the cats get in on it too. Like it's a whole hour of me trying to hush things down. And I end up having to give
I'm
them
not
extra
here when this
food.
is happening, but I can just imagine the level of frustration with it because you're like, I just want silence so that I can record.
I just
Please.
need everybody to be quiet for like several hours. But it's
Oh,
funny
God.
to talk about it. And I just call her up and I'm like, Mom, I'm dying over here. I'm like, it's like, that's it. And then I just stop. So I go and I'm trying to not let myself get frustrated. I go and I'm like, okay, there's other things I could do that I don't have to do the recording right now, but I only have so many hours where, my house is empty and people aren't home that I can.
And flushing
do
toilets
this.
and doing whatever, clomping around those stairs.
I know. My kid, when he gets into the refrigerator, it becomes the noisiest refrigerator you've ever heard. And I don't know how he can turn it into like a smash band kind of thing. Like ice is falling on the ground and then he'll drop his cup or something. Like, wow, it sounds like bombs are going off upstairs. Like, I don't know.
So
the struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
And listen, as you watch some of the videos, you'll see a part where I'm like, it'll be like one of those jump cuts where I had to get up. I had to like, something clicked on and I had to stop and immediately get up, turn it off, and then come back and finish what I was saying. So I kind of think of them as like being funny. And I've even thought about leaving some of them in there. Like when my cat starts going crazy, I'm like, okay, we're just going to wait for him to be quiet for a second.
I thought about that. None of your business. About the electricity, I wondered, and it's like, well, you could take power packs in there. So they have power in the storage.
I don't know.
I know. I said, oh, you have to get climate controlled for sure.
Yeah, you'd have to be an AC because Florida is too hot. Like,
yeah.
In the middle of the day,
we're still trying to make this room work though, because this is a good room. It's just
I'll have to put like a little video on Instagram or something. Be like, this is the recording studio.
Oh, did you have before and afters?
I took some pictures, but I haven't done before and afters. The biggest thing is like just picking out tapestries as backgrounds. This has been my favorite part of it. All these tapestries that I've gotten, and then building the flower arrangements that like bring that in. I just love that. So it's been a fun project artistically. But
it's really cool.
The spaces.
You guys don't get to see it, unfortunately, but it's very cool. It has a super good vibe. It's a really good vibe. Yeah. But it's just not like a sound recording studio. So
not unless I put padding all over the place, which I don't plan to do. I'm just going to choose my hours. So choose my hours wisely and get it done.
And so there's another thing when you're having a hard time, like pick the time that you're going to deal with whatever it is you're trying to deal with. You're just like, I just can't with this.
Yeah, it's okay to give up on it for a while, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to walk away from it for a while. Like when I get frustrated, I just go out to the garden. I'm like, I could water something. I could go rearrange. I could trim something. I could be outside. And that helps a lot.
I had these things that were weighing heavy on my mind. Like I have a little annoyances around my house. A doorknob's broken. A screen door needs to be replaced. Something broke in the bathroom. The carpet's dirty in the bedroom. And like I want to replace the carpet, but I want to do all these things, but it's like I got a budget for it. So I don't want to deal with it because I don't have it. So I decided to just write it all down and then I could sort of start to tackle it. I had a side of my house that Jayme and I painted our house. Painted my house like 2.5 years ago, and it got really, really hot, and it was so hard to paint because you had to push so hard because it's got little like nooks and crannies. It's not just a smooth
surface.
It's like
a textured surface.
It's a textured surface, and it was surface. It was so hard and so much work. We're like, okay, we're exhausted after 2 days, and that side of the house has been unpainted since then. And I've had, I've had 3 gallons of paint to paint it, and I was going to do it over the holiday. And then it rained for the whole time. I was like, well, I'm not doing that. Well, Jayme had somebody clean her windows, and that guy does painting. So I was like, oh, come and look at my project. He came yesterday and painted the whole thing in like 2.5 hours. I was like, oh, I'm so excited about it. So there's one check mark on one of the things.
She texted me too. She was like, paint the house. Check. She just like, that's all she sent. And I knew what she meant, of course, but getting those things
and then
done.
Today, Jayme dragged me into a flooring store. She's like, this is the store. This is the store. Well, yeah, you told me about the floor, where to get tile, the for my master bedroom. Yeah, floor stuff. And then she goes, this is the one right here. And in we go. Guess what? They're going to come and
they're doing a survey thing.
They're going to come and measure the space, and I'm going to get a quote from them. So I was like, oh my gosh.
So now we're
Do you
making
know-
movement on these things.
Yeah,
right? Like,
so
now there's
stuff is
check
like
marks.
happening.
Yes, yeah.
Stuff is happening.
Stuff's happening.
I had the roof guy there last night. He's coming back this weekend, so things are happening finally.
Yes. Yeah, we're getting out of the retrogrades. So now
Yay.
it's like, oh, life can resume as normal.
Anybody else
Okay.
getting things done like that they were wanting to get done, and they're like,
Yes.
"Oh, is your Christmas tree still up? And your
Ooh.
Christmas decorations still
Ooh.
up? How long you gonna take your lights down this year?"
I am, but I kept my lights up till July last year, or July, like 6 months ago, only to put them back up in November. But that was because the brackets that I used to put them on the roof, I already knew were going to be horrible to take down. So to make it easier on ourselves this year, we got new brackets that are aluminum and can stay. And all you do is like lift your lights off and then you lift them back on. So it's none of this like clipping in and tying and all that stuff. So I know that taking them down is going to be way easier this year, and I'm going to be on it like
soon
bonnet.
because
I'm on it like bonnet. I didn't have a name that rhymed with that.
well, the bonnet's on. When
On
you
it
wear
like a bonnet.
So. Oh my gosh, Mags took her tree down today. Yay! So there we are. You know, we're getting motivated. To
And
do
laundry.
stuff.
Yeah, I had guests. I'm pretty sure they used every towel in my house. It's two younger girls. They're in their 20s. But you know, we have the pool and the beach and whatever. And I had to do 2 loads of just towels. I was like, whoa. And then I got to wash all the bedding where they slept. And I'm like, it was a whole day of laundry. So I feel you on that. I told my husband, I'm like, I'm not about this housewife stuff anymore. I don't like it. I want to retire. I don't want to do this anymore.
You don't want to be a housewife. I don't want to be a worker
housewife.
bee.
No more housewifing. I'm going to go work at Starbucks or something just to get out of the house. Yeah, we can share laundry. It's only when there's like 5 or 6 loads where it's just like all day keeping up with it.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. So.
All right. So here's getting stuff done, getting out of Mercury Retrograde.
Done, yes.
Getting stuff done, starting to feel in the mood to get things done. And when you don't feel like giving yourself grace, being kind to yourself.
And telling yourself it can wait till tomorrow if you needed to.
Yeah.
Because, you know, mental health should take priority over
a
checklist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
All right, you guys.
Well, we will see you next Monday. This is our 3rd live. Is this our 3rd live? Third live. We're going to get so much better at all this. But yes, we will see you next Monday. I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend. And if you have binoculars, you know, you can see that like green comet thing in the morning.
She was out early trying to see that. So.
I was.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of like telescope type what are they, satellites up there moving around and zooming into lots of stars and the moon. Oh my, looking at the moon through binoculars, it's really bright. So watch out. I was surprised at how much it hurt my eyeballs. I was like, whoa, it's super close and bright. But yeah, get out there a little before dawn, and if you can, to see that big green comet.
All right. Yeah. I'm seeing the thank yous. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
We love you so much.
Yes. And we will see you on Monday.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
So funny. Like, and then